Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever, wherever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and this is yet again another working group here. This is actually our fourth working group for our team efforts in preparation for the Community Energy Innovation Prize. And I am abbreviating that CEIP. And joining with me here on the working group today is my superpower, Tyler, aka Mrs. Youngs. Thank you, as always, for all the support, Tyler, that you give to make all of this possible.
Yeah, I love it. Excited to build it with you.
So this is Notion. We build Biddle in public, and we've got some agenda prepared for our live stream. And one of the ways that I always start off our working groups here is that we are still accepting new teammates for Solar EV, the Community Energy Innovation Prize. And we do use toggle headings on Notion. So if you're looking at this page, so here is a link to our project homepage, solarevcoop.org, which redirects to our link tree. And then feel free, if you would like to, are interested in contributing to our project, feel free to grab a time slot on my calendar here. And this is something that we will continue to talk about here throughout 2023. The deadline for Community Energy Innovation Prize is not until February 2nd, and everything that we're doing is still very formational. So you have a huge opportunity to hop in and contribute to our project. And this right here is actually our project homepage. I'm going to just bounce over here. So if you go in Notion, that is. So this is one of the things that we've got some details on that, and not going to go into detail right now during our live stream on that. So this is one of the things that I'm going to keep updated here with some additional external opportunities. And one of the opportunities coming up here is on November 16th. And since we've got a couple weeks out till that, it's not something that I brought on here yet, but it's something that I'll put on here. And it's a teaming conversation. So anyway, one of the things, and if Amy hops on here, we'll circle back to this. I'm going to go ahead and drag this bullet point down to the bottom here real quick. Oh, I'm getting a little scroll action. So we'll put this at the bottom and can circle that back if Amy joins us later. So one of the things that I want to talk about is that we're really wanting to foster an open innovation model. And we Biddle, I'm not going to go into what Biddle means, but that's one of the things that I'm going to continue to talk about. And one of the tools that we use, and this was an opportunity that Nick and I had here earlier this week, was we actually caught up and talked a little bit about some funding opportunities. And I was like, instead of just like texting this stuff back and forth, let's actually work on getting a framework that we can use and work some workflow. So this is our homepage right here. I'm just waiting for it to load on. This is the homepage in DWork. DWork is a Web3 tool for task management. It uses a Kanban style board. And this is one of the things right now we're doing all of our projects under Web3 Freedom Club and Solar EV Co-op DAO. And here was the board. This is the board that we use for HeroX, and on the overview tab, so right here, we will utilize this board to organize our tasks surrounding team submissions. And here's a couple links that have talked about. So community suggestions is one of the things that we have enabled within our board. And this is something that I'm going to make sure that if you aren't already on our board, that you can test this out. But this is a couple of the things that we did. And let me actually open up this video here. And I'm going to throw this video in the restream for everybody so that you've got a link for that. So we Biddle using an open innovation model. Here is a quick video that Nick and I created this week using DWork. So, and that's something that we'll work on creating more content. I just shared that link to this YouTube video in the live stream for everybody so that that gets shared there across the ecosystem. So anyway, that's actually the next thing on the agenda is to, and I'm going to move this up here so that we, is to talk about some of these funding opportunities, because that was actually the thing that got put forward. And one of the things that is not realistic is that there's so many different funding opportunities, whether it's hackathons or cohorts or like prize money or grant money. It's right now, while we're in a funding phase, still working on proving out this model and getting everything. That's something that we'll continue to have conversations and explore to see if it makes sense. So I submitted one here. Let me bring open this. And this is the DWork task. And this is a fellowship opportunity called Echoing Green. I'm not going to go into details. This is all linked up here. This is something that I'm planning on submitting for here. And the application deadline is November 2nd, I believe. So that's right around the corner. So this is something, Tyler, to help me, and we can take that conversation offline so that I can apply to this and see if this will amplify as a social entrepreneur what we're doing here. And I think that most people would agree the way that we're structuring this, equitable community solar would unquestionably categorize me and Tyler as social entrepreneurs. So moving on down the list, the other one that Nick put forward was an OSED, and I can't remember what OSED stands for. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So it stands for the Office of Clean Energy Demonstrations. And this is something commercial scale distributed energy system. So what we're looking to deploy with solar EV has three main components: a parking lot solar canopy, battery storage, and DC fast EV charging. So the battery storage would absolutely qualify to make this a distributed energy system. And this is one of the things, the concept paper is due by November 16th. So one of the things that I think that would make sense is that we've got a little bit of time. I already reached out to one of the power connectors, Yet2, and this is something that I think we could perhaps refine our narrative that we already submitted for Solar Prize Round 7 last month, and then earlier this month, Community Power Accelerator Round 2. And Community Energy Innovation Prize, the one that this working group is for, that'll be the third American-made challenge. So I think that this is a strong opportunity. I don't know what the requirements are. That's something that we can take offline. So this is something here, Tyler, if you wanted to go ahead, let me link up here. So you have the opportunity, Tyler, to go ahead and upvote. We've talked about two of the three that are on the list. Let me throw in the link here on our Zoom chat so that you can go in and upvote those with your DWork account based upon your thoughts on each one of these. So we've talked about the first two that are on the list. The other one that to talk about is the Chainlink Hackathon. I was looking at this a little bit before our live stream, and I'm going to go ahead and open this opportunity that I created here. And this is the Chainlink Hackathon called Constellation that has a window from November 8th to December the 10th. Now, one of the other things that's normally a great opportunity surrounding the hackathon is, and this is one of the things, reasons to join, is the opportunity to do participate in some of the workshops. So whether it actually makes sense to submit a for this or not, or work on creating a project, there's a strong degree or strong opportunity to participate in the schedule. So just looking at some of the stuff, and I haven't dug in to see which ones that may be interested. for what we're doing. I think that where we're at, it may be a little bit premature for Chainlink. And that's kind of my thoughts right now, but we can have some more conversation. We'll also have another working group between now and November the 8th. Can't remember what the date is for next Saturday, but I'm sure that that's something that we'll talk about before the end of our live stream. So what are your thoughts? Did you have much opportunity, Tyler, to look at the Chainlink hackathon the last day or so?
I didn't. I was looking for it and I couldn't figure out what we were doing on that, so I didn't. I'm sorry. As far as what I know about Chainlink in general, I do think we're a little early, but we can look at them now if you want.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a lot of direction yet. I mean, they do have some FAQs as far as the stuff, and I think that they're really wanting to see some dev work. So this appears to be a more dev heavy project. And like I was looking at the let's see if it had the resources, speakers and judges. So it's looking a little bit at the prize money, and it looks like the biggest prize is within this Tencent cloud. And Tencent sounds like an alternative to AWS. Tencent is a publicly traded company. I can't remember if they're publicly traded here in the United States. I believe that they are, but they're a global company more based in the Asia Pac area. So I don't know how that the cost would, but 250,000 in potential credits for building whatever. So the tech for good, and this is one of the things that there's also a fairly large amount of Polygon funds available, and that's one of the things that's the prize breakdown for that is still to be announced. So I definitely think that there's an opportunity, especially in the tech for good, but this is one of the things that it will probably make sense to participate in the opening ceremony and potentially some of these other events on November the 8th to really have to make some determination if it makes sense. My concern with stuff like this is that it may be a distraction. And that's one of the things that I think that we may be a little early, because right now, what I view is our top priority is really onboarding 10 LMI, low moderate income households as subscribers for solar EV. And the goal that we put forward is to do that by the end of the year. Whether that's realistic or not, those conversations are still unfolding. And that'd probably be a great segue. I can't remember where I put that in the timeline here. I'm actually going to bump this up for conversation right now since we're talking a little bit about that right now. So we've got an initial conversation with the Energy Outreach of Colorado, and this is the process documentation that have been working on a little bit, where using this as a page to really group some thoughts as far as this. And this is one of the things that I just mentioned here, that our goal is to onboard 10 LMI households. And I'm going to go ahead and deviate into this LMI Community Solar Developer Workbook right now, because this is another resource that has an immense amount of information in it. And one of the chapters that I thought was something that we can really garner a lot out of are chapters 3 and 4 right now. So this is one of the things that community solar development, one of the things that I liked about this, and this is something that we've already talked about, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for everybody on the live stream. So they've really broken down 6 key development roles: financing and capital raising, vendor evaluation, project management, site identification and acquisition, creative financing strategies, and partnerships. And this is one of the things that I haven't seen within this workbook yet, and I'm still going through and kind of bouncing around. But one of the things that we're really wanting to do right now is to onboard, because all indications is that it appears that we need to have 10 households on board. And this is where that I'm getting that from. Let me actually show here real quick. So this is the Excel Energy page for Colorado, where it talks about the process overview for subscriber organization. We are a subscriber organization, and I think that it makes the most sense for the value proposition that we bring to really do a great job working on creating some workflows surrounding this, because one of the things that I'm really excited about is helping participants within this business model have an avenue for wealth building. Like, hopefully when we get this model dialed in for solar EV, this will be a vehicle for creating equitable community solar in projects. So going down here to the developer resources, the program policies requirements. So the community requirements right here is have at least 10 subscribers. So this is where I'm basing that on, is that we're really wanting to get to this 10 subscriber number so that we can move forward with the Excel Energy Solar Rewards community, which we're going to abbreviate as SRC. I've already seen that Excel has abbreviated that with within their language as SRC. But I think also equally important, besides this being a requirement with Excel Energy, is that it will demonstrate when we're looking to do our security token offering, which we still have on the roadmap for February of 2024, that will demonstrate customer traction. And that's one of the things that we're also wanting to have the site or sites selected. And there's a couple shortlists that we submitted within our Community Power Accelerator round 2. And those conversations are very, very preliminary. They're basically in an idea phase. So that's just, again, some reasons why that we're looking at this 10 subscriber limit. So this conversation that we're going to have with Energy Outreach Colorado, and they're one of the organizations that have to assist us with this income qualified verification form. And let me bring this on the screen here real quick. So this is like a one-pager form that the representing organization has to autograph. Now, one of the things that is as a question is, can we use DocuSign? As you know, Tyler, DocuSign is a tool that can make the digital signing of documents, paperwork, substantially easier. And that's something that I think most people are capable of doing. So this is one of the questions that I have is, can we use DocuSign for this process? And that's one of the things I've already sent an email to the point of contact for the Solar Rewards community program here in Colorado, and still waiting on a response. That's one of the questions that I would like to really get answered, because it looks like that this is one of three forms, two of which have to be signed by the customer, which I think would be a prerequisite for this form getting signed. And that's one of the things that I've started to kind of break out here within this. So one of those that I just talked about was the consent to disclose utility customer data. So not going to go into details about this. One of the things that I did want to get back to, though, is that this resource right here, the low to moderate income community solar developer workbook, is something that I would encourage anybody that's interested in doing community solar to use as a resource, and more importantly, for us, that is our team here, to use that. And that's one of the things that I'm going through. And they've got 8 chapters, and this is one of the things, like I said, still going through. And one of the things that really resonated with me is that they encourage the process to be an iterative process. And That's one of the things. The solar development process, I'm going to highlight this right here, is not linear. It is very iterative. And that's one of the things that I'm excited to use a tool like Notion for creating a framework that I think that will provide a scalability for how that we're looking to build these business models. So did you want to chime in on anything about the LMI process here real quick, Tyler, before we go on to the next step in our...
Yeah, so a couple things. One was I had some initial thoughts on just recruiting families that I thought would be interested in this area. You were talking about making it more systematized, whatever. What are we thinking on that? Is it going to be a Google form, or are we going to have them upload docs or some web form to Notion? What are you thinking about on the actual?
Well, and I think that will depend a little bit on what the scenario is, because one of the things that I want us to get great about is hybrid events and like the opportunity for us, because I would really like to streamline this where we're not working one-on-one with families, like where we're hosting an event, whether it's a in-person or a hybrid event at the library or a webinar. And I think both of those, like a hybrid event or a webinar, is really the two types of things that I would like us to get good at. Webinar would, of course, be completely virtual. And then the other scenario too, so just creating some workflows surrounding a potential scenario where somebody, a low, moderate income household, will be like, hey, I love the idea of community solar. I love the idea of saving 20% on my electricity bill. I want to, so that's one of the things that we'll bring forward as far as a conversation with Energy Outreach of Colorado. I don't know what the process looks like, because like the eligibility for LEAP, Colorado's low income energy assistance program, that window opens up literally here in a couple days and runs through April. So Energy Outreach of Colorado is one of those organizations. So that's really something. And one of the things that we're really looking to do, Tyler, is to document a user journey, whether it's the user journey, the user would be the LMI household or the LMI subscriber that we would onboard as a subscriber. So we're wanting to create a couple of user journeys, whether that journey would be through a webinar or through a hybrid event. And then one of the other user journeys that really wanting to take into consideration is a gig worker that may be talking. And when I talk gig worker right now, the main gig working niche that we're most interested in is with EV drive, or with people that drive to do their gig work. And primarily we're talking Uber, Lyft, and potentially food delivery, with a higher focus on the Uber and Lyft. So, because one of the opportunities that I see is creating an affiliate marketing program where that gig working driver can be a key component of our customer acquisition strategy, our subscriber acquisition. Now, that might not, the passenger or passengers that these gig working drivers, they might not all fall under an LMI household. And that's one of the things that we want to, potentially develop some workflow surrounding. So those conversations are very preliminary, but what the tool that we're wanting to use to document these user journeys is Mermaid. And we'll have, like I said, we'll have more conversation on that. So does that help to answer your question or make that a little bit more clear, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So one of the external opportunities that I've had here on the calendar was the Community Energy Innovation Group Office Hours. And here is the forum post here on the HeroX page for this. So this is one of the things that the power connectors, and that's, it's not completely clear to me what these power connectors had to do, or that they're an eligible power connector, but these are organizations. And this one was held, the group office hours was held by CEBN, which is the Clean Energy Business Network. And I'm going to go off on a tangent here real quick. And here's their page, Clean Energy Business Network. So this is something that may make sense to join. They have Clean Energy Business Network. And to circle back, it was a pretty, I thought that it was a fabulous group office hours. And I actually connected with a couple people there, and I've got a scheduled conversation where they booked a time slot using that same calendar link that I showed earlier in the live stream here today. But anyway, the Community Energy Business, Clean Energy Business Network, they held a group office hours here on Friday, October 27th. Amy and myself participated in that. And then like I said, had a couple follow-ups from that, and it may make sense. I'm going to do some more research on this and talk about whether I think that this is something that we should participate in. They do have a freemium model, and I'm not sure what that provides as far as from an information standpoint. And the business network, here's the benefits that it provides. It looks like it's $250, and I'm not sure if that's something that is prorated. I mean, like right now, there's only 2 months left. I'm not sure if this is a rolling 12 months, but again, that's something that I'll take a look at. And I don't know if it really makes sense. There was another, and I'm going to bring, since we're talking about, so Colorado, this is one that I do think makes sense. And this is something, the Colorado Solar and Storage Association. And as I already talked about, we've got two components here, solar and storage, in our business model. And since this is one in Colorado, I feel that this one absolutely makes sense to join. And let me actually take a look here what the membership, and this is one of the things I was actually going to reach out to Stephanie to see if we could potentially, but the new business, that would be us. And I was going to see, since it's like only 2 months left, that if I could potentially join here in November with the commitment of us onboarding as a new business in 2024, so that we can get, because I think that that's on a annual membership. But again, I'll reach out to Stephanie, and this is something that I'll share here next week on our working group. So let me add this real quick, that this is something that we discussed here on the tail end of that. So just out of curiosity, Tyler, what is your exposure historically with like professional associations such as this?
It's been limited. I mean, when I was working in finance, I joined a couple of professional associations, and when I was doing oil and gas and politics, I was in some different associations, but it's been pretty limited. I didn't find them super useful, and so I didn't dig in to get the use out of them. So probably mostly my fault for not taking advantage of the opportunity. But I also have never been in a position that we're in where we had a very specific project and we were looking for specific people and it could be laser focused. It was more like just kind of general networking. So I don't think it was as useful as it could have been with this project.
Yeah, and this is one of the things too that to circle back here momentarily, on this the group office hours, like we've had a little bit of conversation about breaking out Community Solar Club, and that's absolutely moving forward. Had a side conversation with Amy, and let me actually just go here to this page. This is the Community Energy Innovation Prize, and I'm going to go over here to teams, and let's see, find a team. So I'm not sure. Let's see if this is one that. So here's our team. We are, like I said, looking for team members. And let me see if we got that. So this is something I need to make sure that we get that flagged for Community Solar Club. And I'm actually just going to open this in an incognito window, because then I think that we'll actually be able to see the teams. So here's the one that I was talking about, Community Solar Club. So worked with Amy to create this. Web3 grassroots club for equitable community solar. And the reason that I thought of this is that when I was having this group, or participating in this group office hours the other day, one of the things that I felt really good about was that one of the other participants was looking for something more grassroots within the community solar. Now, I think that there's a strong place for some of these more traditional types of trade associations and stuff like that, but I really envision community solar to be most successful driven through a grassroots initiative. And this is one of the things that I feel that I more resonate with, being more grassroots with the way that we operate, like building in public, like most of these traditional associations and stuff like that would never build in public and as transparently as that what we're doing. And I'm not going to go into details as far as some philosophy around that, but here we are briefly discussing Community Solar Club, and this is something that we will continue to discuss, because one of the things that I'm looking forward, and one of the first initiatives that we're going to have under Community Solar Club, is a mastermind group. And I'm actually looking right now at the Let Us Meet, and this is something I'm going to share for everybody on the live stream. So this is our first initiative from Community Solar Club, is a mastermind group for Xcel Energy Markets. So Xcel Energy is the incumbent monolithic energy company here in Colorado that serves 1.5 to 1.6 million customers. And this Let Us Meet is the first conversation that we're looking to do surrounding that. And the goal of this mastermind is for energy stakeholders, whoever that may be, that has anything to do with community solar, where we can really collaborate. My expectation and belief is that conversations surrounding community solar will only intensify. Like, one of the reasons that we're looking at community solar is that when we and Tyler alluded this here earlier, is that when we started working on our team submission for Solar Prize Round 7, and I can't remember if that was, I think it was August. I'm not sure exactly when we had our first conversation and our first working group around that. But when we started really like digging in and seeing the opportunity surrounding the Inflation Reduction Act, we really pivoted from a single family model to the solar EV and the parking lot model. And a lot of that's because of the government funding that is available through the Inflation Reduction Act. So the opportunity with this mastermind group is for us to come together, people that want to see community solar and more interested and more specific around Community Solar Club, is that we're really wanting equitable community solar. Now, one of the things that will be interesting to unpack as we continue to dive into this equitable community solar conversation, I think that a lot of people will leave the equitable conversation around equitable access. And one of the things that we're really passionate about is driving the narrative much deeper than just providing equitable access to solar. We're really wanting to create a generational wealth building or multi-generational wealth building strategy that the people that are participating in our equitable community solar can use that for generating wealth through the equitable component within these distributed energy resources that we'll be building out, where instead of just increasing the access to the community solar, that will actually allow people to be owners in these distributed energy resources that we're going to be bringing forward. And that's one of the things that we're really looking forward to, finding some existing best practices for equitable community solar, and then sharing and collaborating ideas so that we can, like I said here, be more effective in supporting our respective organizations. So I put the link on there to the Let Us Meet. This is one of the things that I'm going to amplify in some additional conversation. I'm actually planning to make a forum post over here on the main forum for Community Energy Innovation Prize, as well as doing a post on the NCSP, the National Community Solar Partnership, which is a online community that the U.S. Department of Energy is facilitating from their perspective to also proliferate community solar as well. So what are your thoughts, Tyler? I mean, we've been having lots of conversations. I think that this would unquestionably be the most public initiative that we've had as far as really moving a mastermind conversation forward. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this this mastermind group here for solar EV or community solar in these Xcel Energy markets.
I think it's interesting that we have such a big push on solar in the state, and that we're partnering with Xcel instead of trying to go against them, which is interesting, because we're building it on top of their infrastructure, and we're just providing an alternative. I just think the way the whole thing's put together is pretty interesting. The other thing is, a lot of people are looking to plug into something that matters. We were at that. I've just been hearing a lot of nonprofits. They have ideas. They'll teach classes, or people write books. We had a sorry, I just got a bunch of texts, lost my train of thought. I've seen a bunch of conversations with people lately that are interested in plugging into something that solves an actual problem, instead of just building something to build it, or to build it to get funded to start something. This is an actual solution to a problem that people seem pretty excited about. There's not many moving parts. So yeah, I think if we can get the right people on the bus, then I'm ready.
And just to kind of amplify, I don't think it's necessarily that Xcel Energy wants to partner with community solar providers. It's that they got told by the Colorado Public Utility Commission that that's something, and that's who governs the
Oh, sorry. It wasn't that I was saying Excel's hanging out the flag and saying we want it because it's a corporate initiative. I'm saying it's nice that we don't have to recreate Xcel to then build community solar on top of it. The pipes, the infrastructure, the lines, it's already there.
And I have no expectations that Xcel is going to be really making this an easy process for us. There's not a whole lot of existing providers, and that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to sharing very transparently here. And I think also the better that we do documenting and sharing this process, and this is one of the reasons that really wanting to facilitate the mastermind group. But this is one of the things that I wanted on my screen here on our project page is like, why Colorado for the first solar EV project? And this is some things that I've put together here to really amplify why that we're really looking to do our first solar EV project in Colorado. So all the way back to 2010, Colorado, and this was the best summary here on the Institute for Local Self-Resilience at ilsr.org, where they talk about Colorado's community solar program. And honestly, and part of the reason that we're extending this conversation to Minnesota and New Mexico, these aren't the only markets that Xcel currently operates in. And this is something that we should potentially enhance. And I think I'm actually going to right now put Michigan on the list, because one of the things that I discovered since I had this conversation is that Michigan actually has some existing bills on within their pipeline. It's not been approved yet, but Michigan is another very large market. And I think it's more the Detroit area, but not for sure. So that's one of the things that we really, with Community Solar Club, and it'll be interesting to see how these conversations move forward here. And we'll be bringing that forward here very, very much during our working groups and other opportunities. Like, so this will basically be like one of the first breakout conversation. And I'll probably schedule, and this is one of the things that may do. So it looks like our working group will be on November the 5th. Depending on how people respond to this here this next week, and that's again one of the things that I'm looking to amplify on the places that I already talked about. So looking forward to these conversations and wanting to facilitate more of these conversations here. So getting back to the agenda, so we've talked about these two things. We've been discussing the Community Solar Club, and this is one of the things. I'm going to put a link right here and I'm actually, instead of just putting a link, let me just click on our homepage for Triple Win Foundation, and I'm actually going to bring this open in a Triple Win Foundation, and I'm not going to spend any time talking about Triple Win Foundation. That's the nonprofit that everything rolls up within this WeBiddle, a DAO Web3 ecosystem for exclusively developing win-win-win projects. So this is something that I updated a little bit here. Not going to go into details about that, but we were talking about Community Solar Club. Web3 AI for Energy is another breakout team that we're going to have some conversations about. Because AI and using Web3, all of this is very, very preliminary. Like the smart distributed energy resources are going to be governed or administrated very, very differently than the antiquated utility grid that largely serves most of the customers. So again, those conversations are very, very early. We'll be talking more about Triple Win Foundation, be sprinkling that in more throughout here. But I thought that it was relative. And getting back to where I was wanting to go, because that was a little bit of a tangent, was talking about some new resources. And we're using Notion. And this is one of the things that really want to get better at using Notion for capturing, like, categorically, Notion will function as our knowledge base and our wiki. It's entirely possible that it will function as our CRM, our customer relation management. And that's one of the things that will be interesting as we continue to unfold how that we're building our stuff. So articles and resources, this is a database that exists within Notion. And here's just a long list, and I think that this may be sorted by when that they were added, and I'm not really sure. It doesn't really matter, but I'm constantly adding resources to this, and I'm going to talk about a couple of these like right now, and let me make sure that I keep on track here with what I'm wanting to talk about within Notion. So let me get back to our agenda real quick here for our working group. So specifically in this resources section, I was wanting to talk about this Appropedia page about Community Solar. And this is actually something that I included as a link into, I don't even remember if I included it as a link here. Let's see, I think I put it on our FAQs, which is another database within Notion. What is Community Solar? So let me actually open this. So here was the page that I was wanting to talk about. I'm a huge fan of Wiki, not going to go into details. And this is actually built using MediaWiki, which is what Wikipedia runs on. So this is one of the things that's got a lot of great information that was curated by somebody. And the thing that's great about this is that has links to third-party resources. And this is something that I may hop in and contribute. And one of the things that I want to do with this piece of content is actually tell the backstory about this content. So the Appropedia is something that showed up on my radar when I was looking at a book. And the reason that I even discovered this To Catch the Sun book is I've been increasingly talking about having conversations with Tyler about incorporating a Kickstarter into our strategy. And this is a book. The reason, and I'm actually just going to go through here real quick. So I'm going to go to google.com, and this is one of the things. I'm in an incognito window right now, and that was done intentionally because I don't want the Google results to be skewed by my Google account. So one of the advanced features that I love doing is doing a site colon with the website. So this is an advanced search where I'm wanting to search Kickstarter.com for community solar, because I was curious if anybody had used Kickstarter for doing anything regarding community solar. And the reason that I put these quotes in here is that forces Google to look within their database that it has to be community solar with those two words together. So let's actually do this search. So, and there were 4 results, and it's funny that the To Catch the Sun didn't even show up on here. So let me just do a search here for To Catch the Sun. Oh, actually it did. So this was the To Catch the Sun. So I'll just click on this link. So there was four pages that showed up. And I looked at all of these. The one that was most interesting was this book here. For some reason, it's in Dutch. Let me make it English here. So To Catch the Sun, and I'm going to show this. Here is the Kickstarter project To Catch the Sun that we are speaking about during the live stream. And this is a book that I actually added to our shopping cart. If we haven't ordered yet, Tyler, can you please help me get that done here today? Because I would love to read this book. And one of the reasons that I'm talking about this and being intentional to talk about this, and let me actually just open up the Amazon link too here real quick. I'll share this To Catch the Sun book. And this is one of the things that I would say that this book is more of a story with grassroots. And this is one of the things that I love the grassroots aspect of Kickstarter. And one of the things, let me share the book here, link to Amazon book To Catch the Sun. And one of the things too, and I'm going to just put this out to the universe, I would love to have Lonnie Grafman on a future podcast episode. One of the things that we're planning on doing with Community Solar Club is to, and we'll put this as a pretty high priority. I would actually love to have some episodes recorded, at least 10 episodes. I'm going to put this out here as a goal, Tyler, to get 10 episodes done before the end of the year and potentially even before Thanksgiving. Now, I don't know if that will be realistic or not, but let me actually say this is I would love to get the episodes recorded, and I'm really envisioning doing a live stream similar to here, and then where we repurpose the audio content where we're going to go into that intentional. And I want to ask one question here is, what is Community Solar on our season 1 podcast for Community Solar, for the Community Solar podcast? So, and that's one of the things, I'm not sure what kinds of questions that we'll ask, but I would love to have Lonnie Grafman on as a guest for Community Solar, the Community Solar podcast. So that's one of the things, and I would love to have read this book so that I could be a better host for this before we have. So let's put that as an action item on our thing. And I would love to have the episodes recorded with the plan to launch the podcast maybe early December. So let's kind of put that as a goal here on our agenda. So this is something, and I'm actually, we talked about this, and I'm going to actually add that we talked about this during this working group. And this is one of the great things that I love about Notion, is that we can do all of these cool relations. And now we're back to our agenda. And then the thing that will be fabulous is that, like, articles and resources, we talked about to catch the sun here on this live stream. So anyway, getting back to our agenda, and this was a tangent where we talked about the Appropedia page about community solar. The other one that I wanted to talk about is a research report, and this is and I should put this in here as a, let me actually, I'm going to put report paid. So this is one of these expensive industry reports that cost a lot of money. Wood Mackenzie at Wood Mac, this is one of the business models that they use within their business. So I've got the full text here, and I'm actually going to click on the link and open that. And I'm not sure if there's a good snippet of this industry report. Let me make this bigger for everybody on the live stream. So this is their PR news wire report for this particular article, talking about, and I think that this article was released. So this is talking about the growth there. And this also talks about the Inflation Reduction Act and the investment tax credit. And so one of the things that will be interesting is the bonus adders. And I'm pretty sure that this is talking about, like, stacking multiple investment tax credits. And that's one of the things that they made it very clear, that it will be difficult to potentially qualify for more of these. One of the opportunities that I see here is to stack opportunity zones with some of these. And the opportunity zone is not something that was introduced within the Inflation Reduction Act, but I do see some overlay. So this is one of the things that's very exciting, healthy long-term trajectory. And the other thing, too, that I wanted to bring some special attention to is that the report also shows that subscriber management companies, and it specifically talks about 3 subscriber management companies. And I'm not sure what the overall, I think it's about 1 million subscribers, but I can't remember where I heard that number from. And these 3 companies have 50% of the overall subscriber management. That's really one of the things that I believe categorically where we will fall. And I'm increasingly believing that solar EV should be a brand within a Web3 community solar network, because that's one of the things that I believe with what we're doing with the solutions that we're going to create with Web3 and blockchain, that we can fulfill as a subscriber management company other projects that might not be a solar EV branded project. Now, just putting that out there for consideration, I'm sure that that's something that we'll talk about. One of the things that I love about the way that I'm setting up Notion is going back to this page that I created within our articles and resources database, is that I went out of my way to create some additional companies, other mentions here, Arcadia Power, Perch Energy, and Ampion. Because one of the things that I love to do is to be a student. One of the things that I would really love for us to create a goal, and this is actually something that I was thinking of, Tyler. So right now it is 2023, and I believe that there's an immense amount of narratives surrounding 2050 with clean energy. And this is one of the things that I would love for us to create a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal with solar EV to onboard 10 million LMI subscribers, or just subscribers. Let's not even add the LMI component. 10,000 or 10 million by 2050. That's 25 years. And I think that we can reach that goal in the next 25 years to onboard 10 million users, energy users within solar EV. How does that sound to you, Tyler?
Sounds a little crazy, but I know these things get momentum. They do.
Well, 25 years is a long time too. And like when you think about like Excel, like if we Excel currently has, you know, 1.5 million. If we only got like 10% of that market share in the next 25 years, and my expectation too is that their number of subscribers are going to grow. Like I'm very optimistic about the population. Like the population of Colorado, I don't know what the expected growth rate of the population of Colorado is by 2050, but I think that I want to put forward that we will reach or through our solar EV to have 10 million equitable community solar subscribers and or EV. What do you call somebody that EV charging user? Is there a better term for that? What would you call the? What do you call people who EV charge?
I mean, what do you call somebody who uses a gas station? I don't know if it has a name.
Yeah, I don't know either. So between the subscribers and the patrons, let's just call it patrons of our EV solar EV at the pump, our EV patrons at the EV charging. There's got to be a better word. I don't even know what you call it, because you call like a gas station pay at the pump, but it's not really an EV pump, is it? Anyway, we could take that offline. So I'm going to put this as a breakout thing. Let's let me get back to my agenda page here. Oh. So BHAG, 10 million solar EV patrons by 2050. 10 million solar EV patrons by 2050. So we can put that as a timestamp item. So let me see if I'm going to bounce back to this new resource, or the resources here. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, let me just add this here real quick. So I'm going to add this as another talking point, is discuss Rex articles and resources. Now, are you familiar enough with Rex, Tyler, to know what that means?
No, I don't know.
Well, great. So this is one of the things I love about these working groups. So let's see. Can't remember. I'll create a FAQ for that. So this is one of the things that in our articles and resources, I actually just created a tab here in anticipation of discussing this. So RECs are renewable energy certificates. So this is one of the articles that I wanted to share. And let me open up this sustainability magazine article. So there was a couple opportunities here why that this was interesting is that renewable energy certificates, the blockchain and the future. This is one of the really strong use cases that a lot of people are talking about. And this is like, besides this particular article, industry veteran here, industry as in IT, is IBM. IBM has done a great job continuing to reinvent themselves as far as continuing to be a global solutions provider. So I'm going to share in our restream here, everybody. So here is the IBM article discussing REX and tokenization, which is blockchain. Now, IBM is a little different in that they actually have the Hyperledger, which allows enterprises potentially to have its own blockchain. So most conversations surrounding IBM will be around gearing those conversations so that they can be a solutions provider for Hyperledger. So just keep that in mind. But I don't even know if this particular article goes into that, but it's a great article that talks about the value proposition that blockchain can provide. And the thing that's fabulous about this article is that this article was written prior to 2020, or to when the Inflation Reduction Act was actually. So besides REX, the other opportunity with blockchain is with the investment tax credits, because the thing that was most interesting about the Inflation Reduction Act is that it introduced the transferability of these investment tax credits so that, like for us, that's a startup where we don't have a substantial amount of revenue that we could potentially offset by continuing or by investing in these green energy credits. So anyway, there's an article talking about renewable energy certificates, and this is one of the things that we've got that we're talking about. And this is one of the things, this DREC, the thing that I really liked about the DREC is that it's specifically around distributed renewable energy resources. And one of the things that I really felt amplified the validity of these DRECs is another article that I shared over here in our database talking about, and I'm going to open up this one, is Salesforce actually made a really large purchase to acquire, and Salesforce is a global sales platform as a service operator. And this is a fairly recent article, February of 2023, where they talked about a pretty large, so 65 million. And that's one of the things that this was done through these distributed renewable energy certificates. So there's nothing like getting validation regarding DREX than a global power player, Salesforce, making a large contribution. So that's one of the things that I think that there's an opportunity for us to potentially foster some. And there's actually a page here at drex.org. And this is one of the things, I'm not sure what opportunities are for us to have more conversations around being in this DREC initiative. Energy Web is another blockchain solutions player that we're looking to leverage or and explore as far as our own utilization of blockchain and Web3 technology for the solutions that we're building. So the REX conversation, and the way that I understand REX, and this is one of the things that would really be interesting, Tyler, with your financial background, because right now, the way that the community solar works in Colorado is that we are required to sell our REX to Excel so that Excel can use that to make their green energy and their renewable energy numbers look better. I really think, and I don't know what conversations have been had from a legislation standpoint regarding these renewable energy certificates or credits, but they're most oftenly abbreviated as REX. I don't know legislative conversations have happened here in Colorado. I don't know what the legislative landscape looks like across other states. And that's one of the things that still very early to this space. But I do know that there's immense amount of opportunity. And it's not that I know, it's that there's reports like this one here. And let me open up this this Yahoo article. So this is a Yahoo article. It was actually a PR Newswire article, as you can see here. And let me share this here, Yahoo/PR Newswire article speaking about the growth of HeroX in coming years. So 111 billion growth, and there was and this is where another very expensive, detailed article, and I'm not sure what expensive is. So this article, to access this, would be like $4,000 as a single user. So this is one of the things, though, that they've got a nice chart here where you can see what the expected growth is. Right now, it's a pretty small industry, but it's going to continue to grow. And I think some of that, again, this is a summary of that article that talks about that. So this is another opportunity with what we're building to participate and benefit from the anticipated growth. And that's one of the things that I expect, that there's a different states have different legislation. And the more that we can understand that, the more that we could potentially do something that I know that you love to do, Tyler, is drive the legislation narrative conversations. And that's one of the things that, as we build out Community Solar Club and potentially get more traction there, that could be a vehicle for amplifying those conversations. Do you want to chime anything more on the HeroX?
No, that sounds good.
And I don't know if there was any other noteworthy articles. Actually, I went through and shared all four of these on the HeroX that I had added. So let me get back to our agenda here for our working group today. And this is right here. So we talked about that, and we talked about the HeroX. So this is all the prepared agenda that I had here for today. One of the things that I would like to get better at is going through and adding. So I'm actually going to go through the process right now of adding our upcoming working group for next Sunday, which will be November the 5th. And this is one of the reasons that I love Notion, is that we use templates in Notion. So this is how easy it is for me to create our upcoming agenda. And I just changed this to November 5th. So I don't know if we really got any, the only carryover thing that we had was the Justice 40, and that's something that I'll make sure that we speak on this next week. So what's some stuff that you would like to talk about here on our agenda next week, Tyler?
We need to nail down the LMI situation and get the get whatever we're doing, funnel or otherwise, in place so we can start doing that. And that's my number one. And then and that, like, if we could have one thing done this week and execute on the working group next week, that would be it.
And I would actually advocate that we even take a look at the calendar and potentially like brainstorm some potential days. And I don't know if we should just I don't know if we should go as far as creating a let us meet, and this is one of the things, but let's actually just take a look here at the Web3 Freedom Club calendar for November of 2023. So we've got Thanksgiving here. So the real question is, I think that it may be a push to do anything prior to Thanksgiving. And this is one of the things that becomes challenging here. What would you think about doing something on November, this this last week to get something in on before December, because I would really like to do 2 hybrid events. And then depending on, like, the great thing about webinars is if we can get the webinar stuff really dialed in, because like right now we're talking about the LMI, and I really would love to, I believe that that's more important than focusing on the gig workers persona. And that's one of the things, just to circle it back to our book club, like there's really 2 personas that we're focused on right now, really creating content and some narrative surrounding. One is the LMI subscriber, LMI households. That's what Tyler just amplified as the top priority. The second are gig workers. And because we would really like to get people that are excited. Like I'm personally excited being able to have an EV charging station that's using renewable energy that's sourced right there on the site, that I can be a patron member of and benefit from the equitable conversation that we're going to build into these equitably owned community solar distributed energy resources. So I'm thinking right here, just looking at this, just like without having another better vehicle for doing social proof and scheduling something. And this is something that, like, I really think that we need to have in the evening hours. So let's actually, like, instead of just talking about putting something on the calendar, let's actually create a let us meet. So I'm going to just go to let us meet. And so we've got 2 markets that we're interested in building in. I think we could both agree that Boulder is probably more strategic than Welby. So let's put this on for November 28th, 29th, and 30th. Let's meet, and we're going to call this Solar EV. We're going to call this LMI.
Hey, take it off for the make it the 29th and 30th. I don't know when we're gonna be back from out of town, or 29th, 30th, and the 1st.
Okay, that's fair. So my thoughts are, Tyler, that doing this in the evening to make it the most inclusive for people to participate in person. And I'm thinking probably like a 5 to 7-ish time frame, and probably 6:30, maybe 6:30 to 7. So I'm really would rather not have it on a Friday, with the idea of it probably being like a 6:30 to 7:30 or a 6 to 7, and a 6 to 7 window
Yeah,
probably would be the most inclusive. So I don't want to do it on a Friday. Let's meet. So we'll just do Wednesday or Thursday. So this will be the solar EV kickoff hybrid solar EV in Boulder kickoff hybrid event. November 29th, 30th. And who knows, like if we get enough, we maybe should just plan to do both nights. Like seriously, like, you know, taking an hour to do a hybrid event, where I could go do the in person, and then you could help facilitate. Let's change this to an and instead of an or. So this will be a hybrid IRL or Zoom at probably main Boulder library. And this is one of the things that I'll make. I was at a Boulder library. I can't remember if I went to the main library or not, but I'll do some in-person reconnaissance here and or online. This will be a hybrid event. Hybrid events. Zoom to onboard households into our households as subscribers into our pilot solar EV community solar program. And that'll give us literally, like, the thing that I love about the date. You know how much of a date geek I am. Today's October 29th. So that literally gives us 1 month from today to get the process finalized. And this is something very tangible. And I'm going to just put in here this window from, we'll put 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. because, again, the opportunity to make this most inclusive for either students and or, because that's one of the things that, like, we've been talking about the collegiate track, and I'm not sure what, like, our opportunity to amplify this to onboard households as subscribers into our pilot solar EV community solar program. Solar EV project links, https solarevcoop.org. So we're going to limit this to 1 hour and create. So I'm going to go ahead and add my availability. So it looks like we've got a conflicting cryptorado that I won't be able to attend, and we need to see if this is seed stock. It's probably seed stock being on here. So anyway, this is much more important. So I'm going to put my availability on there. And again, one of the reasons that I love Let Us Meet is that this provides a very nice social proof. And this is one of the things that we will likely create a token incentive for the people that add their availability for this. And this is one of the things that we love using our Web3 social tokens to really encourage desired behavior. So here is the Let Us Meet. Let us meet for our solar EV Boulder kickoff event after Thanksgiving. Oh. All right, so that's something that and let me share that. I forgot I didn't get that shared here real quick. Okay, and this is one of the things that we do on our working group is we build in public and we get things done. And this is one of the things that we will now put on. I'll put it on the calendar here actually right now as well. So this is the 29th create event. Solar EV Boulder kickoff event, kickoff hybrid event. And I'll get that updated later. So there we go. All right, and I see Tyler hopped off, so we'll actually bring this live stream to a close. I'm wearing my Broncos jersey. I know that they're playing the Chiefs here. We'll see how that game is. And this is one of the things. So nailing down the LMI process, I absolutely agree. That is what I consider to be our top focus here with what we're building at Solar EV. And thank you for all that you do, Tyler. And that's one of the things that you make all of this happen. And whatever channel that you're listening to, make sure that you subscribe here, that we'll be doing more of these events. And if you want to participate, send me a DM and I'll get you added so that you can have the details to participate here on our Zoom conversation as well. Anyway, until next time, this is Yunks.